Phil is a normal man in a not-so-normal world. What happens when all privacy is gone in place of security, and the government knows all personal information? This is one possible future.
And since the instatement of the government Real ID program, it has been upgraded to form a virtual net around the citizens of America, resulting in a decrease in crime rate of about 150%.
That's a bunch of crap. More of a pain in my ass than anything else.
Oh, well, hey, Phil.
Hey, Bob.
How's your daughter doing?
Private bill.
How's the surgery last week?
Still private bill.
Not anymore, am I right?
Yeah. Well, hey, that reminds me. You should be putting on your tag.
You should be putting on a coat. There's a cold front moving through.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
Key scan verify. Enter PIN number. PIN number verified. Thumbprint scan. Thumbprint verified. Retinal scan. Retinal scan verified. Dental scan. Dental scan verified. Elbow scan. Elbow scan verified. Skeletal X-ray. Skeletal X-ray verified. Identity verified.
Stupid jacket. Of course. It's the middle of the day.
Listen, Phil, I caught you speeding back there.
Do you want my tag?
Nah, it's alright. I ran your license plate, already charged it to your bank account. Listen, you got some late movies. Radio Free Album Booth, Minority Report, Total Recome, Tale of Two Titties,
That's from my wife.
Tentacles All Over, Coming to America for Sex,
Alright.
Call of Booty, Modern Warfare.
That's fine. That's enough. That's...
Alright. Well, I'll see you at your court date on the 10th. You have a good day now, Phil. Try not to speed too much.
Minor annoyance or inevitable future? Who knows?
I don't think so. You know, unless we had a really severe attack, it could precipitate moves in that direction. An unfortunate reality is that once you give away certain liberties, it's hard to get them back. I think Americans are smart enough not to allow us to get in a Big Brother situation. But on the other hand, you know, if we had another 9/11, you know, that would be an additional erosion of our liberties. And once you go down that path, it's hard to regain your liberties. Well, I think it would be possible. I mean, certainly the technology is there to do it. It would probably be a vastly distributed database. You wouldn't have it all stored in one place. That would make a serious, you know, single point of failure in the entire system. But one of the major problems with it, well, besides the privacy issues, is just that it would be such a huge target. And so anybody who was interested in attacking the United States infrastructure would clearly go after that first. And if you had all this private information there stored in that one place, well, you know, what cyber criminal wouldn't want to attack that? Security is a really hot area now, and a lot of people are worried about that and privacy. But I think it's also a little bit overblown. You know, conspiracy theorists think that the government is doing their best to take away all your privacy. And I don't think that's the case. But on the other hand, I do believe that people get worried. They get fearful about things that can happen. And a lot of times when things happen in society, like happened after September 11th, right? We passed the Patriot Act, which many people thought was an overreaction and was removing a lot of privacy, civil rights that people had. I think that if we had another major attack, that there would be another push by the government to restrict our freedom, restrict our liberties. Society as a whole just needs to make the decision of what they're willing to tolerate and how much security they're willing to trade for how much privacy. Because there's always a trade-off between those two things. The more security you have, the less civil liberties you're going to have. And that's unfortunately just the reality of the situation.
Phil is a normal man in a not-so-normal world. What happens when all security has gone in place of privacy, and the government knows nothing about its citizens? This is another possible future.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hello, this is 911. What's your emergency?
You gotta send someone down here. I just got stabbed. And someone stole my whole life savings.
Alright, well hold your horses. Just start yelling and our scout team will find you soon enough.
There's no time. You gotta send someone. My address is
Wait, son. You know the rules. We can't be having all this personal information being leaked out.
No. It's okay. My name is...
La 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 la, I can't hear you.
You serious?
My boy, you know the rules since the government enacted the privacy doctrine. Times have been tough. But we have an excellent response time. Depending on where you are in the city, we'll be there between 1 and 10 hours.
Forget this.
In space, no one can hear you scream. A future of absolute privacy is a lot like space, when you think of it that way.
That's a hard question, but I think the answer, surprisingly, is yes. And the reason is because you do have this trade-off between functionality and security. And so if you decided that you wanted to live out in the desert in a shack and make yourself entirely divorced from the network, well, you could be pretty secure and pretty private. But, who wants to live that way? You can always have a secure, you can live in a bunker, for example. But, you don't want to live that way. And so you always give up some security by adding additional functionality. And there's always that trade-off, and it's how we want to live our lives, I think, is the appropriate question to ask. Yeah, I would say to computer science students and to technologists in general, that it's important not to just focus on the technology, but to understand the social and ethical implications of what you're doing. Because the more functionality that we develop as technologists, the additional opportunities there are for somebody to take advantage of that. And certainly the things that we develop, for example, the people working in our department on text, automatically parsing text and extracting the meaning from it, that could easily be used by a Big Brother type organization to monitor all your emails. And so what you have to understand is that you need to be a well-informed citizen and use your position in society to control the technology that you create.